We're here at the 2024 Williams car reveal, but also second driver reveal to partner Alex Albon for this year. James Vowles, who's going to be alongside Alex this season?
Well, I'm delighted to announce that we have signed the 2023 Formula 2 champion, Gary Owen, to drive for us this year. He is on loan from the Ferrari Academy, and we can't wait to work with him this season.
Now over to you, Gary. What's your expectations going up against Devon Butler for Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, it's simple. Win, learn as much as we can. Of course, I got a great teammate in Alex Albon, a great team with so much experience. It's going to be a big learning year, but I'm ready for it.
Can you see yourself with this team long term?
I mean, obviously, I'm with the Ferrari Academy. The end goal is to be a Ferrari driver as soon as possible, but anything's possible. Anything can happen. We just got to be patient, and yeah, we'll give it some time and see what happens.
All right, well, good luck to you in what is a long rookie season ahead. There's your reveal of the Williams team for the 2024 season.
After winning nearly half the season in Formula 2 in our rookie Formula 2 season with Prema, we got the call up to Williams on loan from Ferrari as they did not have any space anywhere else in their stable coming into what will be the 2024 season of our brand new F1 career mode. We start immediately with a call from our agent.
Hey, so I just wanted to let you know some big news developing right now. Ferrari just signed Hamilton.
As in Lewis Hamilton?
Yes, Lewis Hamilton.
Okay, so what's that mean for us?
I just got off the phone with some representatives there, and they assured me your future is still with Ferrari.
So we've been coming up the Ferrari pipeline and have finally gotten our ride into Formula 1 on loan to Williams from Ferrari, but we break the news or find out that Lewis Hamilton is going to Ferrari in 2025. But there's another development as well. Oliver Behrman in the Ferrari pipeline is a highly scouted prospect coming into this brand new season in Formula 2 that we're going to have to pay attention to. But there's a bunch of news, of course, coming into this season, including, of course, the likes of myself going up against fellow rookie of Devon Butler. He's driving for the Kick Sauber team. Now, Butler is not a part of the Ferrari pipeline, so we're not competing against him for a Ferrari ride, but he was able to get that ride before I even had a chance at F1, which is why we didn't end up in the Kick Sauber team for this season. As well, 17-time Grand Prix winner and veteran of the sport Kasper Ackermann for the Haas F1 team announced over the offseason. It will be his final season in Formula 1. So we will be following along with the stories of Butler, Ackermann, myself as well, going into this oncoming season of this F1 career mode, and I hope you guys are excited for the adventure now that we're back on F1 23. We have full mod control, and we kick things off with the 2024 season. I am running 2024 cars in the game. It is a mod. I can link it down below in the description. There's so many stories to kind of pay attention to with the Ferrari storyline that's already kicking off right before our hands. And of course, it was announced now that Lewis Hamilton will be going to Ferrari. How is that going to strain the relationship with Mercedes through this season of the career mode? That's another story we have to pay attention to. Hamilton at Mercedes, myself in the Ferrari development. We have a 2-year deal still with Ferrari, a part of the Ferrari Academy. And as well, on top of that, where are we going to go because of Ferrari signing Lewis Hamilton? That's of course up in the air. How is the progress going to be for Oliver Behrman in Formula 2? Mercedes has a Formula 2 prospect coming up the ranks as well. Aiden Jackson, actually British driver that we're going to be paying attention to in the F2 season to come as well, over points of the season. Not every Grand Prix, of course, that they have, but it is already a lot of just stuff to take in. And of course, the farewell tour for veteran of the sport, Kasper Ackermann. But I was really happy with the car in practice and not sure what to expect coming into my first qualifying session here Friday night under the lights, but I was excited nonetheless to get after it here in my first qualifying session. And the goal here was to just really have a clean lap and just make sure that nothing really goes wrong and see how close we can get to our teammate of Alex Albon, who we're really going to be leaning on this season. The first race is more about do my own thing, just kind of see where we we are, kind of set a bar for myself, and then we start to kind of lean on others around us and let things develop. Now, we're running number 5 on our car this season, of course, in tribute of my favorite F1 driver, Sebastian Vettel, no different than the F1 24 career mode. If you guys enjoyed the F1 24 career mode and are disappointed that that's gone, I'm not going to spoil anything, but this whole time I've had a plan in place for that as well that you might enjoy, so stay tuned on that. Nonetheless, my first lap in Q1, we go P16 just behind Albon by about 1/10 of a second. We put on another set of softs and go for a lap late in the session, needing more time to move through into Q2. We're a little bit cautious into turn number 1, but we're finding some time on the exit, but we actually invalidate our time, and just like that, we're already done. It's going to be a Q1 exit. So that is a little bit disappointing here now, as you see the rest of the order here in Q1. I couldn't get the AlphaTauri team name to change. Of course, that is supposed to be Visa Cash App Racing Bulls, but you see Sauber kicks Devin Butler there, P15, while Bottas down in 19th, Hulkenberg all the way at the back. Let's head to the grid for our Formula 1 debut in Bahrain.
No more testing, no more practice. This is the real deal, and it's make or break here at round 1 of this year's Formula 1 World Championship. There's no shortage of passing opportunities around the 3.36 miles of the Bahrain International Circuit, with the best, of course, at turn 1, and then another soon after into turn 4. 15 corners here, 6 to the left and 9 to the right, and we could see 1 or 2 flat spots into that tight left-hander of turn 10. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Hamilton, Sainz, Perez, Russell, Norris, Oscar Piastri, Fernando Alonso, Stroll, Gasly, Ackermann, Butler, Tsunoda, Ocon, Albon, Golden Boy, Ricciardo, Bottas, and Nico Hulkenberg rounds off the grid. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today.
We are ready to go racing here in Bahrain. It's going to be likely a 1-stop. 2 stops is a potential strategy on the cards, and it's actually only going to be about 2 seconds slower if you do a 2-stop, so it is certainly possible to work. But we're going to start off with the 1-stop and see what happens as the race goes. Let's get ready to go racing.
Here we go then, the formation lap gets underway and the excitement here is building as we near ever closer to the start of the race. Which team will come out on top? Who's got their strategies right for today's race? Well, we'll soon find out.
Good way to start the year, guys. Let's hold this position.
Thanks everyone for the hard work this off-season. I might be leaving, but we're going to have a strong year.
Back towards the grid to line up for the start of the race. Each driver will be wanting to get the best start they possibly can. And they'll be hoping to finish today's race on the podium, failing that, within the points.
Okay, Gary, good luck tonight. Great effort last night. Just keep the car in one piece for us.
Yes, sir. Thank you, James. Thank you, everybody here at Williams, for giving me an opportunity. Of course, not a part of the Mercedes family there, but I appreciate you guys taking a chance on me on loan there from Ferrari. Let's have a strong year. So we pull up to the grid. It's going to be Nico Hulkenberg lining up the back of the grid with the kick Sauber there of Valtteri Bottas now. And the 2024 season is set to get underway. Now fighting for a ride at Ferrari begins now. We're lights out and racing, and it's a terrible start from our teammate of Alex Albon. We're already beating our teammate on the run into turn 1. Hamilton's gone through on both the front runners from third to first. Hamilton to the lead. Leclerc, a terrible start. Verstappen is now alongside Hamilton through 1 and 2. Who's going to come out on top? It's Max Verstappen, the 3-time consecutive world champion, trying to make it forward to the lead already, and Leclerc's already up the inside of Hamilton as well. Can he at least get himself back into second and limit the damage that he's already done to himself? From pole to third, back to second goes the Monegasque driver Perez, and fourth Carlos Sainz in fifth. Following through behind them, you got the McLaren, the Mercedes, and the pair of Aston Martins as well of Alonso and Lance Stroll, fellow Canadian here on the grid. But a nice just blinding start from Hamilton, but unfortunately just as quick as he went from third to first, he went back to third just like that. As for myself, settling into these opening moments out of turn 10 here, right on the back of Pierre Gasly. You got the pair of Alpines just in front of us, but P15, we passed Albon on the start. I didn't gain anything else really here, so some work to be done. We did actually get Tsunoda though. We were up the inside and was able to get an overtake complete on him. He's going up head-to-head against Daniel Ricciardo this season. That's another driver that we need to pay attention to. Daniel Ricciardo, what can he do behind the wheel of the Visa Cash App Racing Bull this season? Is he going to be able to, kind of prove himself and say, hey, I still belong here in Formula 1. I even belong maybe in a Red Bull. That's the big question, of course, and we got to as well pay attention to how Sergio Perez does. Now that I have kind of control of the modding abilities of the game again, we can actually, base a story around how drivers are performing and whatnot. And that's the exciting part, where in F124 you're at the mercy of the game. A driver can suck at Red Bull all year long, they can still keep their ride because that's just the way the game is. Now, one of the biggest differences here going back to F123 is DRS is now on lap 3 and the HUD looks a little bit different. That's pretty well it. The gameplay is significantly better, the handling is better, everything is better, except a few differences of DRS is lap 3 instead of 2, and the HUD looks a little bit different there on the bottom right corner. So I am so excited to be back on this game. I've had a lot of fun already playing it. It's a blast, and I think you guys are going to be in for a treat because I learned so much doing the career mode last year, and now that I can kind of learn from that and do things now based off what I learned, it's going to be so exciting, and I can't wait for you guys to see what I got in store here now as we're looking for an overtake here up the inside of the Frenchman of Gasly. We get the job done. We slide in between him and his teammate of Esteban Ocon. There we go. Now we're trying to run down the other Frenchman here in the French car, of course, now as we move into P13. How about Casper Ackermann in that 12th position? 17 Grand Prix wins to his name, and he's ending his career with not a great team, but at least a great start to the season for the American team and the Dutch driver of Ackermann now as we go for a bit of a slip and slide right there. But I love bringing in these characters as well into the game. Although they're from Breaking Point, I still think we can create a cool story with them here now, as here comes Sergio Perez passing Lewis Hamilton to begin lap 5 with the DRS. Perez through into P3 onto the podium as Sainz chases down Hamilton as well, and then a lap later, here's George Russell moving forward over Lando Norris, who's just in front of Oscar Piastri, who's under pressure from Fernando Alonso, the two-time world champion. Looking around the outside, a bit of contact there actually on the side pod. It looks like Piastri might have missed the apex a little bit. They continue wheel to wheel. Piastri is going to stay in front, holds on to P8, Norris P7. Not a great start to the season for McLaren. A little bit of work to do for them in the R&D, but we are now all over the back of Ocon, and he is all over the back of Ackermann, who seems to be fading a little bit here in these opening laps. Now just lap 6 of 29. A lot of racing to go, of course, so plenty of time for things to happen. Ocon, it looks like he's struggling a little bit here. We're all over the back of him. Now he goes a little bit defensive into turn 10. A lockup on the apex. He slides. We look up the inside. We're wheel to wheel with Ocon. We both have DRS. Of course, he's able to trail off the back of the Haas, and he's actually going to get back ahead. We show the nose. Not going to be enough. We'll slide back in. He as well goes defensive here into the apex now. So Ocon maintains P13, and then out of nowhere, unexpectedly, here comes Pierre Gasly, and I have not done a good job managing my battery. We only got 19% battery entering this final turn, so Gasly's actually able to catch me off guard, slip through, and I think he's going to as well be able to put some pressure on his teammate of Ocon a full lap later, and here he goes now, looking to the left. Ocon defends right. He's been driving very defensive early on in this Grand Prix, and nearly contact between the two drivers now. Ocon with a poor exit. We sweep to the left side. We're going to drag race here. We're going to have DRS. Gasly has DRS. Ocon does as well. It's going to be a 3-car fight. Ocon went right, Deeks back left hockey style, as now they go wheel to wheel into turn 1. Gasly on the defensive line this time. He leaves Ocon the room. Of course, these two have a bit of a history. They've not always gotten along, but they're working hard to keep themselves in front of each other, and now it opens the door for me. 3 wide, maybe no, as we have only 6% battery, so I couldn't even get alongside them because we had no battery to use. They continue side by side, and the veteran of Ackermann is driving away off in the distance in the Haas, loving seeing what he sees. Now these two finally get sorted, and it's Esteban Ocon out in front. My goodness, we come a whole lap later now, starting lap 9, and Gasly again with the DRS. Actually, this time might actually get the job done, though. He will clear Esteban Ocon into turn 1, and he can drive away. It certainly seems like Gasly is the faster of the two. Right now, Ocon's really struggling, and he's again on the apex there on my nose, just having a really awkward line, and here's my opportunity. You can tell something's just not quite right. He is struggling with some pace, and now we should be able to go around the outside. Here we go. He's about half a car length up our right side, and now clear. We take off in the distance now, and can we run down Gasly up to P14? A great start in our debut here in Formula 1, and look at the track map. Something you don't get in F124. Separation between the AI. Well, now it's finally like an actual race, and things organically separate and play out. It is fantastic. The AI experience in this game is awesome. Carlos Sainz now passes Lewis Hamilton for 4th place as we continue on, and actually in the background there you see Esteban Ocon and Yuki Tsunoda. They're committing to the 2-stop. They're going to pit on lap 10, so off the mediums they'll go on to another set of mediums for Ocon, and I believe it's going to be the same. No, Tsunoda's going to go onto the hard, so he's going to be ending probably on a medium, while Ocon will be going on to a set of hards for his final stop. So some drivers, some teams committing to a 2-stop, but our situation is we're going to maintain the 1-stop strategy. A lap later, another driver on the 2-stop. It's Sergio Perez starting lap 11. He's going to be coming in on those mediums. Now, this is an interesting call for the Red Bull driver. He's going to put on the softs. Okay, that's an interesting one. So, 3 cars have done the 2-stop, and they've all taken different compounds, which is actually really cool to see. I am using a mod that's supposed to increase the pit stops and basically allow 2-stop races to happen. So I will link all the mods I'm using down below in the description if you're still playing F1 23. So for us, I really like where we are right now, and we as well have battles happening all over this circuit. Here comes Fernando Alonso on the back of Lando Norris, who's been overtaken by his teammate of Oscar Piastri. Piastri in his 2nd season in Formula 1 and Norris both. They're looking for their first wins in Formula 1. Now, there you go. Alonso through on Lando Norris as we come towards the end of lap 12, and Gasly has run down Casper Ackerman, but I am as well getting close. But on the run towards turn 1, here comes Sergio Perez now, who's just going to absolutely fly past me now. Not even a contest, but up front the battle's happening between Ackerman and Gasly, and they are going to continue wheel to wheel, which is a perfect case scenario for myself. Actually, Ackerman gets clear, but Gasly would fight back immediately. He looked up the right side, and they would continue wheel to wheel through the apex, and now as we head down through the S's section, it allows both Perez and myself to close up, but Perez on the 2-stop and on the softs, he's losing precious time right here. That's certainly going to hurt him and impact his race when we get into those closing, 10 laps now. This is crucial time he's losing behind this battle, but Gasly got through on Ackerman eventually, and Perez follows through as well with the DRS, and now we're going to close up on the back of Casper Ackerman, who's clearly struggling with that Haas. Now as Lewis Hamilton is going to come into the pits. Now everybody pitting now is on the 1-stop strategy, so only 3 cars are trying to do a 2-stop here, and we are coming in at the end of lap 14 as we use the DRS here to get alongside Ackerman, and we should be able to clear him into turn 1 or through or out of turn 1. Either way, we should exit turn 1 ahead, and that's exactly what's going to happen. We'll take the position from the veteran.
Great overtake, mate. Great pace too. Box this lap, remember.
We are having a great debut so far in F1. Ackerman just pulls up right to the back wing of us there, but does not go for a move. And that's, I think, the experience, of course, of a long-time F1 racer kind of showing right there. But now, as we come towards the end of lap 14, here comes the leader of Max Verstappen, a 5.5-second advantage over the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc, who's having a solid night after starting pole. It hasn't quite worked out for the lead, but Verstappen's going to have to wait a few extra seconds now for Leclerc. So they are both going on to the hard compound tire, of course, now. And Perez will eventually cycle out, I believe, in front of all these guys. But now here we come following Gasly. Norris is into the pits as well. Ackerman, surprisingly, is going to go another lap. I honestly would have expected him a lap or two ago because he's really been falling off as the tires wear. At least that Haas maybe is just really struggling with tire wear to kick off the season. I actually have a bit of a late turn in, so that's going to cost us some time. Basically, yeah, it adds on to about a 3.1 second stop. Not perfect, not terrible at the same time. And you can see Gasly's going to exit a few seconds in front of us, but as we exit back onto the racetrack, nobody around us. So right now P17, but we should be like a net 14th 15th or so. So we're in a pretty good position here, halfway now through this Bahrain Grand Prix. I'm very happy with so far our debut, and Alex Albon's been struggling to make up for his terrible start now. As you see, starting lap 16, Perez is sure enough out in front. He cycled through to the lead, but don't forget he has to pit again. But by the end of the lap, Max Verstappen closed up by over a second, and now is all over the inside of Perez, now looking for the lead of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Leclerc back by only 3 seconds now, and actually a bit of contact between the two. Perez slides a bit in the final turn. Verstappen goes through and retakes the lead of the Grand Prix, and now he is free to run away, as Perez is going to be pitting very soon. We have now passed Ackerman and Albon, who are both in the pit lane there, and now we breeze back through into the 15th position, chasing fellow Rookie of the Year contender, Devin Butler from Formula 2. He won 2 races in his rookie season of Formula 2, and last season he did 2 seasons in Formula 2 competition. Last season he won 3 races, while we of course won 5 races in Formula 2 in just our first season, and we were able to win the Formula 2 world title, while Butler maintained P3 in the standings. Now, as we continue on, trying to chase him down, that's our objective here. 2.5 seconds to Butler here with a little bit over 10 laps to go. Perez now comes through for his second pit stop of the night, and we'll see how that goes for him as well. Ocon and Tsunoda, they're both going to be making their second pit stop soon, and speaking of Esteban Ocon, he's in a McLaren sandwich now. They breeze past Norris. Piastri back through on his teammate, and he gets Ocon as well into P7 as we come through to lap 19 of this Grand Prix. Just set my fastest lap of the race was a 1:33.937 here, 2 seconds behind Butler still. Perez exit out well in front of us by 4 seconds. The gap is, and he is already marching his way forward here as we now have yellow flags actually, and it looks like it's behind us, and it's actually our teammate of Alex Albon who's experiencing a mechanical failure. It's going to be night over for Albon.
Engine is done, guys. Not sure what happened.
Sorry, Alex. Let's focus on Jeddah.
Okay, so Alex is out of the race.
Is it something I need to worry about?
No, we should be okay. Keep pushing.
And that is exactly what we're going to keep doing, as we currently run in 15th place. But now 10 to go. Let's go through the grid.
10 laps remain for Max Verstappen, who has just over a 2-second advantage on Charles Leclerc.
Charles is holding on strong, but he's just not close enough to apply any pressure. There's his teammate of Sainz caught up in this Mercedes sandwich.
Fernando Alonso starting this 2024 season strong. He's just in front of the pair of McLarens who are in front of Ocon, who has to pit one more time. What can you tell us down there, Ted?
Yeah, guys, Ocon and Tsunoda are both now making their final pit stops. It will be interesting to see if they can work their way back forwards here with only 9 laps to work with. Perez has already made his second stop and is currently 11th. He's going to have to work hard to pass all the cars in front of him by the end of this race.
All right, thanks, Ted. And there you see Perez chasing Gasly and Stroll just in front. Behind them are the 2 rookies on the grid, Devin Butler and Gary Owen. Solid performance for both drivers in their debut.
They both having tremendous debuts here tonight. Casper Ackerman has spent the night fading, and now he runs 15th just in front of Daniel Ricciardo, who has a lot to prove this year. Ricciardo behind the wheel of the Red Bull sister team that has rebranded to Visa Cash App RB.
Ocon and Tsunoda now at the bottom of the grid.
During the through the grid phase, Esteban Ocon and Tsunoda made their second stops, but they are quite a ways behind Nico Hülkenberg, Ricciardo, and Casper Ackerman, who's continued to fall down the order to 15th place now. We have more yellow flags here now on the run towards turn 10, same spot where Albon had his issues, and it's George Russell in the season opener for Mercedes, 5th place. It's going to be night over.
Hell, man.
Sorry, George, not the start we want to have.
And you hear the dejection in both voices there from George Russell, Toto Wolff as well, as we continue on. And that's another spot for us. And because of Ocon pitting and Tsunoda as well, that was 2 more spots plus the 3rd from Russell's failure. That puts us into P12. and our gap to Butler, it's really maintained the same. It's about 2 to 2.5 seconds. There's nothing really changing there as we continue on. Just trying to find some time. I was really comfortable with the car. Honestly, it was great, and suddenly the time started really closing to Butler in the last lap, and it certainly appears that Butler is starting to struggle on the long run here now, as it's a battle of who can be the best rookie finisher in the rookie season for their first race now, and suddenly it's appearing that very well it could be us now, as a Kick Sauber driver is continuing to lose time. We're going to have DRS down this front straightaway now as we go behind the camera. Actually, we didn't quite. We came up just short, but we will have DRS from this point on. We've closed the gap to about 0.8 of a second to Butler now. Fellow rookie, we haven't raced him a whole lot, although we raced in Formula 2 together. We just really haven't had a lot of wheel-to-wheel racing, and we might get our first bit of it here on camera tonight under the lights in Bahrain. This Saturday night now is about to heat up potentially as we get that DRS open. It's not going to happen here. It's really going to be that front straightaway where this pass is going to happen, if it's going to happen. Coming to 5 laps to go in this Bahrain Grand Prix, and watch that rear end. There it is, slipping and sliding. Butler is definitely struggling, and again right there at the penultimate turn he slips and slides just a little bit. You see the balance of the car is not there. Another slide on the exit of the final turn, right on the back of the Kick Sauber. Here we go for the DRS, looking to the right side. It shouldn't even be a contest, but we're gonna drag race now, trying to save some battery. We got Butler right where we want him on the run into turn 1. He outbrakes us quite significantly, but we lunge back up the inside, still leave him the racing room on the left there, making sure he can have a proper wheel-to-wheel fight. He keeps it pinned. We open that DRS for a second time, and that's going to be all we need to breeze through and pass the British driver up into P11. It's not going to be a point finish from the looks of it, but nonetheless, a great drive here now is Sergio Perez as well later in the lap, trying to work his way forward on that 2 stops now, passing Oscar Piastri into this final turn. Piastri, Norris make it a McLaren 7th and 8th. How about Fernando Alonso in P5? These two continue to battle actually. Hold on, Piastri is not making it easy, but on the run into turn 1, Perez is going to get the job done and take over that 6th position and try to run down Fernando Alonso. 2.7 seconds to make up in 3 laps and 3/4. It's going to be quite difficult, and I don't think it's going to happen. For us, lap 26 of 29. We got 4 laps to go. Now it's really a defense game. Just make sure we don't give Butler an opportunity, because although I was able to run him down and pass him, I wasn't quite able to shake him out of the DRS, and in these final 3 laps, he's just kind of stalking me here now. He's within about 6 to 7 tenths of a second. 9 seconds back is Casper Ackerman there in the Haas, actually having a decent rebound, of course, with the guys on the 2-stop, and the failure from Russell helping him move up some positions. Actually, as we say that, Ocon just passed him and went through into P13. But yeah, it was not, smooth sailing here. We come to the final lap now of this Grand Prix, and Butler is still close enough to make me watch those mirrors on the run into turn 1. He gets close, but not close enough to make a lunge. We should be okay now. That was really the only straightaway that I was concerned about, but you never know. He might get a run right here. We got 20% battery left now. We're going to drain pretty well 5% of it. Leave it at 15. Here he comes once again. Is he close enough? He shows the nose, but we don't budge. We do leave a lane just in case, but we're okay. Now, I thought he was going to send it at the last second. I didn't want to, of course, have a run-in in our opening Grand Prix with fellow Rookie of the Year contender. We're both going to come up short of points, unfortunately, but Max Verstappen rounds the final turn. He's won the last 3 seasons in terms of the World Drivers' Championship, and now the quest for 4 kicks off with a win in the season opener in Bahrain.
That was fun, guys. Good way to start the year. Thank you.
Verstappen, calm, cool, collected on the radio. Leclerc and Sainz. How about Carlos Sainz quietly bringing it home in P3? And for us in our debut, maybe one last chance for Butler. It's not going to happen. It's going to be P11, P12 for the rookies. What a debut. P11 from what, P16 or P17 on the grid. A great debut in Formula 1. Awesome night, guys. Thank you. Couldn't ask for much more. Maybe 1 point would have been nice, but yeah, that was great.
Great drive, Gary. Thank you for that. You drove smooth and fast all race long. Keep it up.
It was a pleasure watching that one, mate. You made it easy for me tonight.
That's a fantastic team effort then to secure victory here in the desert.
So then, Verstappen and his, quest to hit 70 wins this season begins right here. What a drive from the Dutchman to kick off Season 1, this debut of the brand new F1 career mode. Now, who knows how long this career mode is going to go. As long as you guys support it, it is going to go. And I'm excited for the journey. And honestly, what an awesome start to the career mode now, as we hear Carlos Sainz actually on the podium.
Yeah, it was a great night. Not a great result in qualifying, but we just stayed after it and got both of us on the podium.
Of course, we know Carlos Sainz will not be returning to Ferrari next season, with Hamilton going to that team wherein he will be alongside Charles Leclerc. So another kind of story to pay attention to, and we're going to watch that develop as this season goes on as well. I mean, we've already got like 4 or 5 plots to pay attention to this season that I cannot wait for you guys to experience now that I've already been planning out. A great debut. We're not going to bother looking at the points this round one, of course. Daniel Ricciardo, P15, beats his teammate of Tsunoda. Hülkenberg, he was really slow all race long, and Tsunoda, that's 2-stop, did not work out for him at all. He certainly had the worst end of it. Perez rebounded quite nicely as well. He did beat Alonso at the end, got to P5. Hamilton 4th in the first weekend after announcing his departure from Mercedes at the season end. I'll see you guys next episode for round 2 in Jeddah. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.